Have you ever stepped into your backyard just as the sun begins to rise, when the air is still cool and the world feels quiet, and noticed how the birds seem to already be awake, already active, already aware, almost as if they've been waiting? There's something strange about that moment, something most people ignore. Because while you think you're simply starting your day, the birds have already been watching, listening, and reacting long before you even opened your door. And what if I told you that those sounds you hear every morning aren't just random chirps, but part of a complex, ongoing conversation? One that includes you more than you realize. For most Americans, the backyard is a place of comfort, a place for coffee, for family, for a bit of peace before the day begins. Birdsong is just part of that peaceful background, something familiar, something harmless. But the truth is far more complex. Birds are not just making noise. They are exchanging information constantly. They are announcing territory, signaling danger, calling to mates, coordinating movement, and sometimes reacting directly to human presence. Your presence. Think about your daily routine. You leave your house at similar times. You walk across the same space. You make predictable movements without even thinking about it. To you, it's normal. To a bird, it's data. Patterns that repeat are patterns that can be learned. And birds are incredibly skilled at recognizing patterns. Over time, they begin to understand your habits, your timing, even your behavior. Not in a human way, but in a way that matters deeply to survival.
There's growing evidence that certain bird species can recognize individual human faces. Not just groups of people, not just general shapes, but specific individuals. Experiments have shown that birds can remember who approached their nests, who disturbed them, and who simply passed by without causing harm. Even more surprising, they can communicate that information to other birds, meaning one interaction doesn't stay isolated. It spreads.
Imagine this for a moment. You walk into your yard one afternoon, completely unaware that a bird nearby has already identified you as either safe or potentially threatening. It makes a call, subtle but precise. Another bird hears it, then another. Within seconds, there's a shift in the environment that you might feel but not consciously notice. A slight quietness, a sudden movement, a change in energy. That's communication happening in real time.
Now consider the moments when birds suddenly go silent. No wind, no obvious disturbance, just an abrupt stop. To many people, it feels eerie. And there's a reason for that. Silence in the world of birds is often a signal. It can mean danger, uncertainty, or heightened awareness. And sometimes, that silence begins the moment you step outside.
But not all reactions are negative. If birds continue their activity around you, if they sing, move, and behave normally, it may indicate something else entirely. It may mean you've been classified as non-threatening, predictable, safe enough to ignore. In the wild, predictability reduces risk, and a predictable human becomes just another part of the environment. However, unpredictability changes everything. A sudden movement, a different routine, unfamiliar behavior. These can trigger immediate responses. Bird calls become sharper, faster, more urgent. Wings flutter more frequently. Distances increase. Attention heightens. It's not random. It's a system reacting to a variable it doesn't fully trust. What makes this even more fascinating is how long these impressions can last. Some birds have demonstrated the ability to remember human faces for years. Years! Think about that. A creature you barely notice might still recognize you from a single negative encounter long ago, and not only remember you, but respond accordingly every time you return. And then there's something even subtler. The way birds respond to your attention. Your gaze, your posture, your movement speed. All of it matters. Direct eye contact can be perceived as a threat. Quick, sudden movements can signal danger. Even the way you walk across your yard can influence how birds react to you. To them, you are not just a person. You are a series of signals constantly being interpreted.
Over time, your backyard becomes more than just your space. It becomes a shared environment where your actions influence the behavior of the wildlife around you. The birds are not passive observers. They are active participants, constantly adjusting, constantly learning, constantly communicating. So the next time you step outside, pause for a moment. Listen carefully. Notice the patterns, the changes, the reactions. Because once you start paying attention, you begin to realize something important. You are not just observing nature. Nature is observing you right back. And maybe the most intriguing question isn't whether birds are communicating. It's how much they already understand. How much they've learned from watching humans over time. And how those quiet, everyday moments in your backyard are part of a much larger, hidden conversation. Because whether you realize it or not, you are part of that conversation.